morning. Today is section 138, verses 31 to 40. Yep. And in these verses, it's talking about what the people were taught, how they were instructed, and who they were. The great and mighty ones, Father Adam, Mother Eve, and her faithful daughters, Abel and Seth. So this is Illustrations for Our Times. It's entitled The Spirit World. It's a long one. It's from Heber C. Kimball. And we're just going to do it because this is all I've got, peeps. Okay. So Heber C. Kimball went to see Jedediah M. Grant one day last week, and he reached out his hand and shook hands with me. He could not speak, but he shook hands warmly with me. I laid my hands upon him and blessed him, and asked God to strengthen his lungs that he might be easier. And in 2 or 3 minutes he raised himself up and talked for about an hour as busily as he could, telling me what he had seen and what he understood, until he was afraid he would weary himself. When I arose and left him, he said to me, Brother Heber, I have been into the spirit world 2 nights in succession, and of all the dreads that ever came across me, the worst was to have to return to my body, though I had to do it. But oh, the order and government that were there. When in the spirit world I saw the order of righteous men and women, beheld them organized in their several grades, and there appeared to be no obstruction to my vision. I could see every man and woman in their grade and order. I looked to see whether there was any disorder there, but there was none. Neither could I see any death, nor any darkness, disorder, or confusion. He said that the people he there saw were organized in family capacities, and when he looked at them, he saw grade after grade, and all were organized in perfect harmony. He would mention one item after another and say, why, it is just as Brother Brigham says it is. It is just as he told us many a time. That is a testimony as to the truth of what Brother Brigham teaches us, and I know it is true from what little light I have. It goes on, hang on. My voice is so raspy. All right. He saw the righteous gathered together in the spirit world, and there were no wicked spirits among them. He saw his wife. She was the first person that came to him. He saw many that he knew, but did not have conversation with any except his wife. She came to him, and he said that she looked beautiful and had their little child that died on the plains in her arms, and said, Mr. Grant, here is little Margaret. You know that the wolves ate her up, but it did not hurt her. Here she is, all right. To my astonishment, he said, when I looked at families, there was a deficiency in some. There was a lack, for I saw families that would not be permitted to come and dwell together because they had not honored their calling here. He asked his wife where Joseph and Hiram and Father Smith and others were. She replied, they have gone away ahead to perform and transact business for us. The same as when Brother Brigham and his brother left winter quarters and came here to search out a home. They came to find a location for their brethren. He also spoke of the buildings he saw there, remarking that the Lord gave Solomon wisdom and poured gold and silver into his hands that he might display his skill and ability, and said that the temple erected by Solomon was much inferior to the most ordinary buildings he saw in the spirit world. No, I've never thought about much about what heaven actually looks like, whether there's buildings. I know they talk about mansions in heaven, but I never think or thought that there's actual buildings. I don't know. I don't know what I thought. All right. In regards to gardens, says Brother Grant, I have seen good gardens in this earth, but I never saw any to compare with those that were there. I saw flowers of numerous kinds, and some with some 50 to 100 different colored flowers grown upon one stalk. We have many kinds of flowers on the earth, and I suppose those very articles came from heaven, or they would not be here. After mentioning the things that he had seen, he spoke of how much he disliked to return and resume his body, after having seen the beauty and glory of the spirit world, where the righteous spirits are gathered together. Some many marvel at my speaking about these things, for many profess to believe that we have no spiritual existence. But do you not believe that my spirit was organized before it came to my body here? And do you not think there can be houses and gardens, fruit trees, and every other good thing there? The spirits of those things were made, as well as our spirits, and it follows that they can exist upon the simple principle. I never had an interview of the righteous assembling in the spirit world, but I have had a view of the hosts of hell, and have seen them as plainly as I see you today. The righteous spirits gather together to prepare and qualify themselves for the future day, and evil spirits have no power over them, though they are constantly striving for the mastery. I have seen evil spirits attempt to overcome those holding the priesthood, and I know how they act. So anyways, that's the thing for today. I find it interesting because I've never thought much about heaven. I never thought that there were gardens there. I never gave it much thought. So, but, I mean, it stands to reason that if, while creating the earth and they planted seeds of every kind, where did they get the seeds? From heaven. But anyways, I thought that was interesting. I don't know if we can stretch it out 2 more days, but we will certainly try. All right. I love you all. That was section 138, verses 31 through 40. And we will see you tomorrow.